Hi everybody, I'm Mike, and this is Long Live the Queen. So let's just have a look at the mood here. It is all still kind of maxed out in the places that we wanted to be maxed out. These skills are precisely where we left them, and what outfit do we have on? Let's train some military. That's what I want to do. It's definitely what I would like to do. So we are going to go and train some military. We are going to train some strategy and some naval strategy. So, you study the power of ranged weapons from arrows to thrown fire and sand, and how the threat of such attacks can shift the enemy's response. You study the use of cavalry in battle, as well as the costs and benefits of traveling with large animals. You study the effects of a strong hierarchy on military organization and the ability of troops to respond to changing situations. Communication across an army can be difficult, disrupted signals can lead to chaos. You learn how to use the ships in transporting ground soldiers across locations. You study cost, time, and materials required to construct new ships. You study blockades, both setting them and breaking them. Alright, things have been so unsettled lately. Everyone's on edge. We need something cheerful. You can hold a tournament. What a good idea! Knights, jesting, musicians, all sorts of competitions. Everyone loves a contest. What will you offer as prizes? Sorry. What will you offer as prizes to the winners? Women. The winners will have the option of taking up royal appointments. It's a recruitment drive. Very well. Very well. I will draft the announcements. You leave him to his work. As you move through the hall, your eye falls upon a vase of flowers. Pretty, but apparently not getting enough water. The leaves on one blossom have shriveled. Someone on hall duty has been lazy. Those flowers should be replaced. You continue up the stairs to the room where a maid is waiting for you. A lady, a gift has arrived from Kigal. From the Duke? No, my lady, a merchant house, I believe. It was sent with a shipment from down the Kavala River. Tear open the brightly colored paper to find chocolates. There's a little card with a box with our compliments. The House of Kurlat. As oddly high-handed as some tiny trader I've never heard of. We will save that for later. I don't feel like candy right now. Maybe later. Alright, so let's continue being willful and angry for the time being. We are going to train up some of our skills in classes. Weapons. Archery. Weapons. Archery. You learn to cut fletch and tie arrows. You learn about different styles and sizes of bows, long, short, and recurve. You learn about caring for your bow and how to store it between uses, string and unstring, and check for damage or wear. You also learn that you should never fire a bow without an arrow on the string. You should also never dry fire a gun. They have firing caps that you can use for that. You strap on protective gear and practice gripping, drawing, and anchoring the bow before finally loosing a shot. Your skill in archery is now 50. You may not increase the skill until your other weapon skills are 25 or higher. This is the week of the general tournament. Nobles and commoners alike have turned out to compete against each other. The people will be pleased if you participate in their games. However, it will expose you to danger. What event would you like to take part in? None. I guess I'll just watch from my tower. Tournament goes on without you. After the tournament, a minor tragedy is revealed. One of the stewards apparently had an incredible sweet tooth and dared to steal a piece of your recently received chocolates. He had a sweet tooth. The chocolates are poisoned. When you ask questions, it turns out that the merchant house which supposedly sent you this present never existed. Someone tried to kill you, but you don't know who. I did have the luxury of foresight in knowing that that was going to happen. So there is that. We are going to take some classes in polearms. You learn about a variety of long weapons, from the quarterstaff to the spear to the halberd and the glaive. You practice walking while carrying a long weapon, getting the feel of its size and weight, and learning to maneuver without banging it into anything unintentionally. You learn the basic stances, grips, and positions for staff fighting, and how to block a blow without crushing your fingers, which is really important. I've done some staff fighting as part of some training in jiu-jitsu that I did. And I had a partner who just... When you're first training, you don't necessarily know how to block a blow without crushing your fingers very well. And even while you're learning that skill, you're not always the best at doing it. And I was practicing with one of my friends, like a friend who's a good friend of mine outside of the class. So he wasn't holding back and just wrecked my fingers. Anyway, you practice standard attacks and sweeps with the long staff. We've unlocked a new outfit. Lady, your father wishes to speak with you, says the surgeon. Fine, I'm coming. Find your father standing over a map of the coastline, his face grave. Ships have been sighted on approach from Shanjia. Not trade ships, this is a war fleet. What? Within a week they will be in Novan waters. Within 2, they could reach the capital. And we will fight to defend ourselves. We can try to use the treasury funds to hire additional soldiers, but it may be difficult on short notice. Let's recruit soldiers. Fine, we'll do that. What about Talassi? Can we call on any troops from Sedna? Send a message. But even if he agrees, it will take time for his soldiers to mobilize. We'll need to draw up a naval strategy for our ships to carry out. You could choose to act as admiral and lead the fleet in person, but the danger to you would be very great. Unless you think your personal skills would make a difference, I would strongly advise against it. Let's direct the fleet. The risk is mine to take. You have your mother's heart. So one more thing. I hesitate to ask, but an invasion. This is the sort of disaster for which a lumen's power may be worth the cost. The fleet could be destroyed before they even reached our waters. Many lives would be saved. I don't know any magic that could sink a whole fleet. I'll have to ask my mentor. You find the Duchess of Versul in her guest quarters. A fleet from Shanjia is attacking us. Is it possible to sink them all with magic? It is easy enough to attack one soldier, one ship as a demonstration, but to obliterate an entire fleet, you would need an immense amount of power to spread over a large area, more than any one lumen could control. If you tried to raise that much power yourself, you would die. Not could, would. So it's hopeless. We'll just have to rely on our soldiers. Alright, so... Let's change outfit. Skills. Let's go and train swords and archery. Or maybe let's train military. Let's actually change outfits again. Okay. So we want to go to military strategy, and naval strategy. So we want to train all these up to the highest that we can. Okay. You study famous battles, the disasters and mistakes which created them, and the turning points in larger conflicts, and why they made a difference. You study the concept of defeat in detail, and how an army can be destroyed by crushing small parts one at a time, rather than attacking it all at once. You have nothing more to learn about strategy. You study the effect of cannons against coastal installations such as enemy docks and seaside villages. You study the difficulty of a sneak attack at sea and ways that it can be achieved. You have nothing more to learn about naval strategy, which is good, because danger on the high seas. Ships close in on each other, angling into range. You take your position with a spyglass, watching the enemy movements closely and shouting out any necessary changes in plans. Shanjians have half again as many troops as you do. It doesn't look promising. The eventual outcome is not in your favor. The Novan ships are sunk or scattered as Shanjian forces press toward landfall. Your grasp of strategy allows you to recognize when the tipping point has passed, and you order your remaining vessels to retreat before they are all destroyed. This saves lives, but it means leaving the Novan approach completely unguarded. Many good soldiers were lost today, and Nova's troubles have not ended. Since you have failed to repel the invasion, the Shanjian troops will soon land, and their troops will begin to progress towards the capital city. Remaining soldiers will hold them off as long as possible, of course, but the main strength of your military has been exhausted. Nova's future looks bleak. What's our mood? We're currently angry. Let's see what we have. Do we have any bonuses in Lumen? No. Well, let's start trading in it anyway. Lumen. Let's wield magic as much as we can. Learn to summon a small glowing light, which you can then move around independently. Learn how to cast rays of white light, which can banish shadows and blind your opponents. Invasion of Nova is proceeding. Your coastline is under Shanjian control. Soldiers have marched through villages, trampling fields, and frightening citizens. A diplomatic delegation from Sanjia has requested access to the castle to discuss terms, most likely for your surrender. You lack the strength to hold off their armies, and surrendering now will save many lives. It would seem that you have no choice. Almost no choice. Your fiancé, Duke Talrus of Sedna, has sent you a message. He does not personally command enough soldiers to turn the tide against this invasion, but his king Talassi is eager to discuss a formal alliance. If you flee the capital now, you should be able to evade the army and reach the Talassian border. Gathering what equipment and money you can, you sneak out of the castle and flee into the east. Agents of Sedna meet you partway through your journey and give you aid and keep you safe until you reach Talassi. There you will be there while the Shanjians loot your domain. You and the Duke of Sedna will be married. Together you can gather the power necessary to retake your throne. You hope. So the reins of power slip from Elodie's grasp. Nova would have to go on without her. But it doesn't have to end this way. Make different choices, train different skills, and Elodie's star may rise again. Well, my friends, that was Long Live the Queen. If you like this video or you just want to support the series, feel free to click on that like button. If you haven't subscribed and you feel like that's something that you may want to do, feel free to go ahead and do that as well. If you have any positive or negative feedback, that you can put that down in the comment section down below. If you want to join me on Facebook or on Steam, you can do that by clicking on one of the links in the description down below. But I have been Mike, and you have been you, and this has been Long Live the Queen. Yeah, thanks very much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.